All right. Well, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you. You guys know I'm Dr. Anita, and this is the Rare Disease Presentation Lecture. And I am here with my very special friend, colleague. She is the Vice President of our Empowerment Through Spoken Word Poetry, Tap Into Your Help to Heal Foundation. And she is also one of our Peace Partners, Tap Into You Peace Partners, Michelle Brown. And I want to just read a little something about my beautiful sister friend, and then we're going to talk about one of the autoimmune system disease conditions, syndromes, or disorders, and she's going to share with us which one that is once when I get through reading her bio. Okay, all right. So first of all, I want to say thank you for being with us today. Thank you for watching the replay, and just want you to know, of course, always, we're always so very thankful and grateful for you. All right. So my sister friend, my beautiful sister friend, Michelle Brown, she holds a Bachelor of Arts degree in psychology from Rutgers University. Michelle is credentialed as an anger management specialist, one CAMS dash I, or one, is that I or one? One,
One.
neuro linguistic programming practitioner, domestic violence specialist, one CDVS 1, certified mental health coach and poetry therapy practitioner, intern. Michelle is also trained in several specialties such as cognitive behavioral therapy, mindfulness therapy, rational emotional behavioral therapy, trauma and crisis intervention. She is a member of the National Anger Management Association and a member of the National Association for Poetry Therapy. Michelle is a MS activist for the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. Michelle is also the owner of Anger Management Pathways LLC, which provides psychoeducational anger management classes and workshops for court mandated and non court mandated individuals. Michelle created lyrical healing workshops, which utilize the art of poetry to help individuals mend and heal. Michelle is an author, and her writings and poetry has appeared in several books, such as Rewrites and WOW Anthology. Her website is www.angermanagementpathways.com and www.rhymeandrestore.com. You can reach Michelle if you'd like to speak with her at 1-877-345-6275. And if you prefer to email her, you can email her at info@angermanagementpathways.com or support@rhymeandrestore.com. Michelle is on social media, and we will share those links at the once we're done with our presentation. All right. So without further ado, I want to welcome my beautiful sister,
You.
Michelle Brown. And Michelle, thank you so much for being an honored guest on the Rare Disease presentation lecture platform. And if you can just share a little bit more. I know I gave our listeners a little bit, and watch viewers a little bit about you, but if you can share a little bit more about yourself.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Anita,
You're
for
welcome.
having me
Mhm.
on this platform for rare disease. And you basically, as far as my professional uh, story or picture, you basically said all. Um, but I will share with your viewers. I am experiencing multiple sclerosis. That is an autoimmune disorder. I was diagnosed back in 1996, and it became progressive over the years. However, in the beginning, let me just go back and start my whole journey. In the beginning, when I first noticed something was wrong, I was just walking, and then my right foot went numb and I stumbled. So when I got up, I just ignored it, thought, well, maybe, you know how your foot falls asleep sometimes. That's just maybe something fluke. So I didn't pay it any attention. Then maybe several weeks or maybe even a month or so later, I woke up in the middle of the night and my legs were twitching and, going in all types of spasms. Again, I just thought maybe I was dehydrated. So got up, drank a lot of water, just brushed it off like it's nothing. And then one time I was driving and the same thing happened. My whole body just started twitching, going into spasm. So I thought maybe I was having a heart attack. So I pulled over. And at the time, my husband was in the car with me, called the ambulance. We went to the emergency room. Did all kinds of tests, didn't know what it was. So, but at this time I said, you know what, I better start, taking this a little serious and see what's going on. So I went from doctors to doctors. I got mixed diagnosed. I was told it was a vitamin deficiency. I was told it was a problem with my heart. It was giving me, I think they call nitro pills. I may be, it's been a while now, it's been over 20 years, I can't remember, which was making me even sicker. And then I even was told, oh, it's psychological. Nothing wrong with you, it's something in your head. So I finally went to see one doctor and he was honest. He said, I have no idea what you have. I'm gonna be honest, but here's a card. Go to, and where I live in New Jersey. So Philadelphia is the next major city closest to me. He said, go up here to Philadelphia. It was the University of Pennsylvania. He said, maybe they can help me. So I made an appointment and went up there maybe around, let's say like 9:30 in the morning. And I got out of there around 4 in the afternoon. They did blood tests, spinal tap, MRIs, everything. But at 4 p.m. in the afternoon, they said, this is what you have. It's multiple sclerosis. And at the time, I had no idea. Only person I heard about that, I think at the time, I was named Jordan. I was a talk show host. I can't think of his name. Montel Jordan. That's what it was. Was it Montel Jordan?
Yes.
Well, forgive me. I can't remember his name, but Montel something.
Oh, Montel Williams.
Williams. That's it. Thank you, Montel Williams. He had MS, and that's the only time I've heard of it, but I had no idea what it was. So yeah, so that was my journey up until now. But over the years, and at that time there was only one medication, and none of the medications out there or that was then back then is can cure. It's pretty much just to modify it a little bit. But at the time there was only one. But over the last 20 plus years, there's a bunch of them out there now. So they have pills you can take. A lot of them are doing like injections, and then some are infusions. And that's the one I prescribe to, the infusion every 6 months. You go into the hospital, and they hook you up to an IV and give you infusion. Yeah, but it was not knowing was scary. But once I know what it was, that was still scary too, but at least okay. Now I know I'm not crazy. There is something happening within my body. And then also for them to tell them, well, we don't know what, why your body is attacking itself, but this is what's going on. Your immune system thinks that there's a virus inside and it's attacking itself. And this is what's causing all your symptoms.
Okay, wow. Thank you so much for
Mhm.
sharing that. And I've heard this more than 3 times. Misdiagnosed and it being long time diagnosed. So from the time that you had, well, let's say, well, not from the onset, but from the time when you said, you know what, I better look into this. From the
Mhm.
time you said, I better look into this, up until the time that you were diagnosed, what was the time span in between there?
A year. It
One
was over
full
a year.
year.
It was over a year. Because when I went to the first doctor, of course, I kept going back because they were treating me as a vitamin deficiency. So when that wasn't getting better, I said, you know what, let me find someone else. Then I went to them, oh, it's your heart. So of course they were treating me, coming, and I saw I was actually getting sicker. I said, okay, let me try someone else. And with that person, oh, it's just in your head. So let me get you someone to talk to. And I noticed that wasn't getting better. Then I finally went to the last doctor and he was honest with me. He said, I don't know. I really don't know, but here you go.
Right. And
Yeah.
and then
Yeah.
at one point you went into some place and you stayed there for a day.
Yeah, it was yeah. For that was the University of Pennsylvania, their hospital, which is they have an MS center. But when I went in there, I didn't go into the MS center because at that time they didn't know what I had. But they
Okay.
tested me. They did all the tests that you would think the other doctors would have done. They did the spinal tap, they did the MRI, they did the X-rays, they did everything. And then that's when they came out and said, okay, this is what you have.
Okay,
Yeah, but
wow.
it
And
took a year.
that
Yep, it took a whole year.
isn't that something? Took over a
Mhm.
year. So you were
Yes.
misdiagnosed. Um, all of that. And when you went to the university and they did the spinal tap and all of that,
Mhm.
the other doctors, they didn't even consider, well, well, that's speculative. I don't know what they
Yeah, right, right,
considered, but
right.
they did not perform these tests, these types of tests on you.
And the one that came maybe the closest is when I went into the ER at that time when I was driving and I started having the a spasm. I went to the ER.
Mm-hmm.
That ER doctor, so they did an MRI, and he said, we can't find anything, but he said there may be a possibility you have MS. And
Oh,
that's what he said. It may be a possibility. He said, but we couldn't find anything. He said, just follow up with your pediatrician, and and see what not pediatrician. I'm sorry.
I know what you
Yeah,
meant.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Your
Yeah.
doctor, your general practitioner, and and go from there. And
Okay.
and of
So
course, mhm,
when he said, how long was it when he said it may be that to being actually
that was
being
over. Yeah, that was over a year. Yeah, that was over a year.
wow.
Yeah, yeah. And
Okay, my
mhm,
goodness. You mentioned the pills, and I've been seeing lately watching TV. There are a lot of medications now. And even
mhm.
now I just saw one recently where you take this pill every what was it? Every 6 months. Have, I don't know what it starts with a K, I think.
Okay,
Kimamalta something.
okay. That one I'm not aware of. I
Okay.
know the injection is every 6 months. The
Okay.
I always pronounce this wrong. Acrevis, Acrevis,
Okay.
Acrevis, because that's the one I take, and that's every 6 months. So the pill when I'm not that particular pill I'm not
Oh,
aware of. Yeah, not saying it don't exist. I'm just not aware of that one. Because
okay.
there's so many out there now. Like back in
Right.
'96 when I was first diagnosed, there
Mhm.
was only one, and it was a shot injection you took every day,
Mhm.
um, and you get administered to yourself. So that was challenging, sitting
Okay.
there trying to stick myself with a needle, or you had to, get family members or friends to do it as well.
Right.
But then over the course of these last 20 plus years, there's so much out there now. Yeah.
Right.
Like I said, they even have a pill that I was taking, Tricadero, I think it was called. That
Mhm.
was every day though.
Okay.
So yeah.
Okay. I attended well, it was a virtual
Mhm.
seminar or webinar yesterday, the day before, and it was regarding they were talking about the CAR T cell therapy because
Mhm.
they've had stem cell
Yes.
therapy, things like that. Well, and this seems very promising. First, it came about to treat cancer, and now they're bringing it onto the table with scleroderma, but now they're saying and other autoimmune disease disorder conditions or syndromes. And
Hmm.
this, before, like the stem cell therapy, you go into the hospital, you have to be isolated because they take all of your
Yes.
immune stuff out. So
Yes.
you're subjected to,
Yes.
viruses or whatever because your immune system is just gone. Well,
Mhm.
this CAR, it stands for something. CAR T cell therapy. It's in office. You don't have to go into a hospital. What they do, yeah, they take some of your T cells from one arm, and they send it to a laboratory or something, and then about 2 weeks or so it comes back, and then they put it back put your T cells back into your system, and those T
Mm.
cells are to they're saying that these because of how they're cleaned or whatever, what happens, those T cells starts to eat at the stuff that's not supposed to be in your system. And
Oh,
I
wow.
found that really, I'm really, this is,
Hmm.
I mean, that really, really made me happy, about that because, especially when it's what do you call that when it's not, when you don't have to go to the hospital, when it's in the office, there's a word, my mind is going.
Outpatient? No, not outpatient.
Outpatient, yeah, you can.
Outpatient.
It's
Okay.
outpatient
Okay.
therapy. So I think I wonder, and I asked, of course, there's a clinical trial study going on now, and it's like $450,000. But I
Hmm.
asked, I said, well, what if people can't afford it? They said you never have to pay when you're going through the study. And so they said that, that's something that you don't have to worry about. And I had asked, I thought they took all of your T cells. I'm thinking like the stem cell thing. And I'm like, well,
Mm-hmm.
what's somebody going to do in 10 days? You're not isolated, quarantine, you walking around here,
Right.
and your immune system,
Right.
is not that. And they said, no, 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 we don't take that much. It doesn't affect
Okay.
anything like that. So you go in the office, they do this, and you go about
Mhm.
you do what you do and come back in 10 days, and then they do it. And they said the process in and out, as far as the T cells, in and out
Mhm.
like a half an hour or so. So I think
Okay,
that's really promising.
that
So
is promising.
those of you who might be, experiencing some type of autoimmune or rare disease, maybe check with your specialist or even your primary healthcare physician that collaborates with the specialist. And I don't know, maybe that might be something that you guys may be interested in. So let me ask
Right.
you,
So, mhm.
huh?
No, no, no. I was just going to piggyback on you. Yeah, I know. With the stem cells, that's definitely promising. The only challenge with a lot of us is that your insurance don't pay for it, so it's a lot of out of pocket, and it's like 14,000 up to to the
Right.
more. Right.
Right. Yeah. See,
Hmm.
that's why I said that. Yeah. Like with this is a clinical trial, so you wouldn't have to pay, and it's
Hmm.
not stem cells, so it's not that stem cell therapy where you have to be in the hospital and all that. It's not as involved. I get, for lack of a better word, not as
Okay.
involved since this is outpatient. But yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Because a lot of
Okay.
this stuff, like medications and things like that, with the Health Hope Act and with the pharmaceuticals, and that's the whole thing, trying to get these things from being rare, because a lot of the insurance companies don't recognize these disease disorder conditions or syndromes. So then that makes the medication just exorbitant because it's not being covered. But let me ask you, Michelle, with multiple sclerosis, I know some uh, conditions and things go into remission, like cancer goes into remission. With multiple sclerosis or plateaus, like scleroderma,
Yes.
it plateaus. Is there such a thing? Is that something with multiple sclerosis?
Yes, actually, one of the because there's four, I guess types, and one of the types, the relapsing remitting multiple sclerosis, is just that you're like you say plateau, everything seems fine, for a stint, and then you may have an exacerbation, which is like an episode, where your body will start attacking itself, and
Mhm.
then you'll go back into, you may relapse for a while, and go back into the same symptoms or may even progress. You may lose mobility when you have the exacerbation. And then maybe months or years or
Mhm.
days, whatever, you'll go back to normal. You'll get your mobility back. So yeah, there is
Oh.
one of the stages, the relapse and remitting MS. You will experience that, yes.
So there can actually be a reversion. It reverts. It can revert.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And because MS is different in everybody, and it shows up different from individual to individual. Yeah, it would definitely depends, I guess, on that's a individual type. I wouldn't say
Mhm.
okay, everybody experience a reversion or everybody or even experience an exacerbation. You know, what's I'm looking for constantly or steadily because it,
Okay.
it it shows different in each person.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, that's so cool. Okay. And you mentioned, you said the reversion or something. So are there different types of MS?
Yes, yes, there's actually four types. One, like I said, the relapsing readmitting. Then you have the secondary progressing, and then you had the primary progressive. And then there's the clinically isolated syndrome. That's
Okay.
also MS. And that, right. So, and each of them show up.
Mhm.
They pretty much, their title pretty much tell you how they show up in the body. Like I said, with the relapsing readmitting, means, you'll revert and then you may, have the exacerbation and then relapse. And then you have the progressive, which means it just constantly progress, right? So you may have exacerbation and you lose mobility. Then you have another exacerbation, you lose mobility, and you just keep progressing. And in secondary progression, that pretty much is like if I had to give it a definition between the relapsing and the progressive. So you might progress a little bit, then relapse. Progress a little bit, then readmit. Yeah.
Okay.
So
So
yeah.
then primary progressive, that would be okay. So I know that means first progressive, but what does that mean? I don't really know what that.
Um, okay, I guess primary progressive, it's it's um it's like you're always progressing. I don't know. I hope I'm
Okay.
explaining that clearly.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like you're constantly progressing, where you're not, maybe you don't have the stages where you're, I don't like to use the word fine, but not
mhm,
experiencing, I guess, symptoms. There we go. I
okay.
like that word better. Where you're not experiencing symptoms,
Hmm.
but then you start, when you do experience symptoms, you're progressing. Like it's a steady progression. I
Gotcha.
hope I cleared that up
That
for you.
does, yeah, that makes sense. So
Okay.
then secondary would be it wouldn't progress as much.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Exactly. Right, right. So it stages, or the stages of progressing and um not experiencing symptoms is a, lack for lack of a better word, a little slower, I guess I could say. Yeah,
Okay.
then
Okay.
would be the
And
primary one.
okay, and from what I understand, like that clinically isolated,
Uh-huh.
that used to be called something else, right?
Yes, that used to be called progressive relapsing, the PRMS. Or some,
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah, because they changed the name. I said that wrong. It used to be relapsing reoccurring. Yeah, they changed the name to that. And I'm, I guess during their clinical trials, they found that was fitting more the clinically isolated syndrome. I guess it mirrored it, I guess it mirrored the primary progressive one, but
Okay.
they isolated is, I guess you had isolated episodes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Almost like acute versus chronic.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's a good way to put it. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Cool. Okay. With MS, because I have let me have my because I got my little questions here because this is
Uh-huh.
just so interesting. And bless your heart for being on the board and being proactive and keeping us aware. Keeping us aware of things. So let me ask you, is there anything that triggers multiple sclerosis?
No, they have, as of now, they don't have a definitive, answer to what triggers MS.
Okay.
They know what happens in your body.
Mhm.
Your immune system think there's a virus or think there's an invasion in there, so it attacks it. It think it's protecting itself, but it's
Mhm.
attacking, you know, good cells, and this is
Okay.
what's causing it. But at this moment, they don't know what causes it, what triggers, I should say,
Gotcha.
MS. If it's genetics, if it's, I know at one time they floating around was they thought it was vitamin D deficiency, which still
Mhm.
could be true, but they just
Mhm.
haven't given a definitive answer of
Okay.
what triggers MS in
Okay.
individuals.
Yeah, I know
Mhm.
that vitamin D is something else because I've not researched all of them because it's so many, but I got to if I looked at 100 autoimmune disease deficiency syndromes or conditions, one
Mhm.
thing that I saw that it said there was a deficiency of, and that was vitamin D.
Vitamin D.
That
Mhm.
vitamin D is a mean thing, boy.
Mhm.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
nothing to play with.
yes, it's something that our body needs, and a lot of us don't get enough of. And it is, like you said, it is linked to a lot of disorders and diseases. And I know, like I
Right.
said, they haven't gave a definitive answer, but I
Mhm.
know at one time that was a topic of the, what triggers MS, vitamin D deficiency, which I was at that moment. I did have vitamin D
Deficiency.
deficiency. Yes.
Wow. Okay. And with
Absolutely.
with multiple sclerosis, so is it a syndrome, a condition, a disorder, or disease?
Now, I guess because it had fell in all those categories, right? So I guess is I'm going to leave that up to the individual to say, okay, I have an MS disorder, because I've heard it MS as a disorder. I had heard it as a syndrome, as a disease. So I couldn't give you a single answer. Okay, this is what MS is. It's a disorder,
Okay.
because I've heard it um categorized in every last one of those you just
As
said. Hmm.
Okay. Because I know with like for instance, like scleroderma, they call it um um a disease. But when I was going through and that's something like with immune, like your body, although wait a minute, no, nothing foreign. The immune system responds to the body as if something is in there. And when I was going through massage therapy, I was taught that a disease is something when a foreign object comes into your system. A
Okay.
disorder is when something starts to happen inside of your system. A
Hmm.
syndrome is when it's isolated, and then a
Hmm.
condition is just the action of it in and of itself.
So
You
we
see
would
what I
take
mean?
your definitions. It would be a disorder because it's
Okay,
something that's
okay.
happening internally. It's a
Intern,
disorder inside your body. Yes. Like I
right.
said, I'm not an expert on that because
Me
I heard
neither.
MS in all, in every last one of those categories. But going off of your definition that you just gave me, absolutely, it's a disorder. So that's
Disorder.
something that's happening internally in your
Right.
body. Yes.
See,
Hmm.
that's why I said I need to do. I said, well, wait, you start questioning because I said, well, wait, because
Right.
like when there's some of the like the disease that I know, and I see they call it a disease, and I'm like, but it's starting on the inside. Why aren't they calling it a disorder?
Disorder.
According to what was learned.
Hmm.
Yeah. Now with this is thank you so much. With MS, is there a certain age range?
Well, yes, but I want to say yes and no because they seen MS show up in younger children, but the age range is usually like mid 20s and
Okay.
early 50s are used
Okay.
in mostly women, although they have seen that change actually over the years as well. And it was at one time it was mostly Caucasian women that were
Gotcha.
mostly diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. But
Mhm.
over and like I said, I've been experiencing over the last 20 plus years.
Mhm.
Um, the dynamics have changed. That whole
Mhm.
landscape has changed. They have seen it in men and women,
Okay.
even though it's still predominantly women. But far as the race, you're starting to see more and more in different races as well showing up. Uh, MS showing up in men. Yes.
Okay,
Mhm.
gotcha. And are there like specific symptoms that you experience, like fatigue, different things? Are there different like common symptoms
Yeah.
with
Yeah. And
MS?
like I said, MS, it shows up different in everyone, but like you
Okay.
said, some common ones are fatigue, spasms.
Okay.
Um, you can have some people experience blindness, you might lose sight. Um, your gait, have trouble walking.
Mhm.
There's and yeah, those are mainly, like I said, they show up differently. Pain, but these are your main your that's pretty much everyone experience with MS, you have fatigue,
Okay.
pain, the constant pain,
Okay.
because your brain is sending off signals
So,
that the body's not picking up. So, those sparks are going somewhere and they show up as pain. Yeah. And then you
gotcha.
have, like you said, the spasms
Mhm.
and yeah. So those are pretty
Okay.
much your basics. Yeah.
Sure. Okay.
Mhm.
And the pain, is it general or regional?
It depends on the person.
Oh,
It depends
gotcha.
on the person. It could be general. Like with myself, it's general. I get it all over, legs,
Okay.
arms, yeah. But it may show up on someone else. And I believe, like I said, I'm not a doctor. I'm just going off the information that my doctor and stuff share with me. Is that
Right.
it depends also where the lesions are on your spine or on your brain or the base of your neck.
Oh.
Also, would depends on where that pain will show up.
Oh, okay. So you just mentioned some. You said lesions?
Yes. So with MS, what happens when your cells attack it? They're attacking the a myelin sheath. It's
Mm-hmm.
the covering that covers your spinal cord.
Mm-hmm.
So think of a electric cord like on your microwave, and
Okay.
the black thing that covers the
Mm-hmm.
cord, the extension cord. If you pull that back, you can see inside the wires. So think of the wires as your nerves. So right. So the black sheet, the black thing that covers that extension cord, that's what protects those wires on the inside. So the same thing with your spinal cord. You have a covering that protects the nerves and stuff. But in mass, your cells attack that black, cover, well, it's not black in our body, but I'm using that as
Yeah, no,
illustration.
I got you.
Right. Yeah, it attacks that black covering
Mm-hmm.
and it breaks it down, leaving your nerves and stuff exposed. And that's what
Oh,
happens. Yeah. So when the signals come from your brain, like to move your arm or move your leg, it's
mm-hmm.
not getting that signal. But it still may get
Gotcha.
that electrical shock, you know, going down. Yes.
Right. Oh, okay. Oh,
Mhm.
that is, see, I did not know. I did
So
not
that's where the
know.
lesions come from. So when you do an MRI, you'll
Mm-hmm.
see that those spots that are missing. Yeah,
Spots.
yeah.
Okay. Oh my, okay. See, I did not know.
Yes.
And just wow, this time is really going. We have five minutes, and I
Oh,
want you to share,
okay.
how people can get in touch with you and your book and everything too. So my last question is, I want to thank you for doing a little research on that too. The rare, what's an MS that's rare?
Yes. And I'm total transparency. I didn't know until, it was brought to, you brought it to my awareness. And it's Tamil, I can't even pronounce
I
it.
know it's some
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, but
simulfactive.
there is, right. Yeah. But there is a rare MS and it shows up just like, all the other MS. It's just that this one forms like a tumor in your brain. So doctors are saying that it is, you still get the same symptoms and everything, but it's a little, it forms in your brain,
Okay.
opposed to attacking the spinal cord. Then
Okay.
yes, but that's
Okay.
a rare form of MS.
Yes.
Yes,
And it was,
and
let
I
me
just
get,
learned about that. So
yeah, me too. Me too. And this to just share with you guys, because I'm not sure how it was how it's pronounced, but I'll spell it
Mhm.
for you guys. You can where let me
Then
see.
also you can always go to the National Multiple Sclerosis Society. I think it's .org. So it's
Mhm.
what's that, nsms.org. No, I think their words are spelled out. National Association. No, wait a minute. Forgive me, guys. National Multiple Sclerosis
Okay.
Society.org. They have all the information you need to know about MS, the different types of MS, and they even have that rare form on their website as well, how to connect. If you're a person that's diagnosed with MS or may think that you may be experiencing MS, you can get information there. And also, if you're a caregiver for someone who has multiple sclerosis, or you think someone you love may be experiencing, go on that
Okay.
website and it's a plethora of information.
Of
Yeah, it's
information.
stuff that we couldn't possibly cover it within this, a time
Right.
frame here. And I don't know all. I'm not the expert of all. So yeah,
Okay.
they definitely have they can fill in the gaps that I may have left out.
Cool. Okay. And then just one more last question. And I said that was the
Yes,
last one. Well, this
that's okay.
it's tumefactive, you guys. So it's TUMEFACTIVE. And like Michelle said, you can see it on the website. My last question for you, sis. What's your take on having a internal, you like family and like intra or inter support system?
Oh, it means a lot to have a family support system. Um, One, my family never allowed me to say woe with me, right? They didn't ignore it that I'm experiencing something. They know something was there, but they say, okay, you're experiencing MS. Now what? Right? Now what? Now what are you going to do from where, for the position that you are in now? So it's extremely important to have that support system. If, whether it's your family, friends, co-workers, or even if you go to a support group, right? My only, I guess, caveat would be with a support group, make sure it's a group where they're uplifting and supporting
Mm-hmm.
and not sitting around saying, oh, well, with us, right?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, but
Mm-hmm.
supporting and helping you, um, enjoy this journey as much as you can. Well, you can enjoy it. I shouldn't even say as much as you can, but enjoy this journey, period.
Right.
Yeah. So it's
Right. Bless your
extremely
heart.
important to have that
Right.
support. And if it doesn't come from family, find it anywhere. Find it wherever you can, whether it's an online group, in-person group, or friends or coworkers. But it helps mentally, it helps spiritually, it helps physically when you know that you have that support um along this journey, right?
Okay.
Yeah,
And then here I
absolutely.
go again, Lord. I'm sorry.
That's
Okay, this.
okay. That's okay.
So what would be your advice, Michelle? Say a person is diagnosed, and it in lieu of in lieu of let's see, let me see how to go. What would be your advice to a person that has been diagnosed, and what their reaction is that they pulled away? They pulled away from family. They pulled away from others to be isolated. What would be your advice?
So my advice would be to allow someone to come in, and you want someone that's just going to listen to you if you can. If you can't find anyone, or if you say, you know what, I like being withdrawn right now because there's some stuff in my mind I need to work out. Find a journal, right? Let a journal be your friend. Start writing or gather. There's a lot of books out there on MS, and not just clinical books. They're books that people who have experienced MS and they wrote about their journey. I can't think of any books off the top of my head, and please forgive me because I have a bunch of them. I just can't think of any right now. Um, but find their books, read their stories. You know, there's people. One young lady, she wrote her mom had MS, so she wrote from a caregiver's point of view. So if you don't want to allow anyone in at this moment, because you know maybe you're trying to figure it out on your own, like I said, write about it yourself, or go on Amazon, just put in multiple sclerosis, books about multiple sclerosis, and gather up much information and support from books if you can, and then maybe from there you'll be in a position where you allow someone in. But definitely try to allow someone in so you won't, so you have somebody on this journey with you.
Right.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that
Thank
would
you
be
so
my
much for
suggestion.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the names of those books, do you think you can get them? And then once I
Yes.
post this, I'll post it
Hmm.
on the I'll make sure I post it inside like the YouTube and on the face, whatever social media I put
Yeah.
that this goes on.
Okay, absolutely. I'll gather
Okay,
those up
cool.
today. Yep,
Wonderful.
absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
We did go a little over, but I want you to have time to share about your book, where
Hmm.
people can contact you and all of that.
Okay. So my book is Love Unleashed. Is pretty much, I call it a fictional memoir. So it's a part my story, but I embellish some stuff and to make it for a good read. But you can find that on Amazon. Just punch in Love Unleashed by Michelle Brown. It's a quick read, but you will enjoy it. It's a
It
little
really is, you guys. It's
insight. Thank
excellent.
you.
It just it
Mhm.
touches your heart. It's very, yeah.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Thank you for that. Yes, and then I can be reached at anger management info at angermanagement.com, and then also support at rhymeandrestore.com. Yes, thanks.
Okay.
Oh, and my social media, I'm sorry. I'm Michelle Brown on Facebook. Just punch Michelle Brown. You'll see me there. And then on Instagram is rhyme underscore and underscore restore. Yes. And you can also find me on LinkedIn, Michelle Brown.
Okay.
Did I cover
Wonderful.
everything?
Yes, yes. Oh, that 1877 number.
Oh, yes. And you can also call 1-877-345-6275. And you can reach me there as well. Mhm.
All right, yeah, and she's very warm and everybody and everything, you guys. I mean, I just
Thank you,
love her to
sis.
life. Thank you
Love you too,
so
sis.
much, Michelle. This has been very
Thanks for having me.
enlightening and informative and educational and just increasing the awareness because that's what it's all about. So I appreciate you. Thank you
Yeah.
so much. All
Thanks
right,
for having
guys.
me.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You know it. Well, I want to thank you again for those who are watching this at this time. If you watching it wherever whenever I say it at this time, whenever you watch this, just want to let you know that we are we're so very thankful and grateful for you, and we just really pray that this information it brings awareness to you, and then also that it serves you well. All right, we know that the journey in self recovery is absolutely beautiful, and I know you know so beautiful, both he and she, so are you. Just touch on that trust and tap into you, okay? We're all one family, one love, one energy, okay? Blessings, peace, and love. And until next month, thank you. All right.
Bye now.